in. So the doubling is a given. It's just that whether after that, whether they'll do more value add, it looks like a knowledge economy, the way he's speaking about the R&D. The stock and the news has been, of course, very well received.
And not taking on any debt is also a big
it's
thing.
entirely with their own earnings. That's true. But markets at this point in time are actually showing that it is holding up. Anuj, anything to add?
Yeah, it's holding up, and the mid-cap index, the advance decline is about to turn in favor of the advances actually. And clearly the crude trade is playing out, HPCL, BPCL, the pharma trade is playing out, IT trade is playing out. Even the banks are beginning to make a bit of a comeback now. The Bank Nifty has cut its losses. That could be very interesting as we move on. Mitesh Thakkar and Prakash Kaba joining us. Mitesh, morning again. Your thoughts on the first hour and what would be your stock calls now?
Morning, Anuj. I think very clearly, the good thing is that we've kind of rebounded directly from the lows. And as I said, I think we need to clear 15,850 to get more stability on the indicator chart. I think that might be a difficult task. So the market might still remain volatile. But trading with two long calls, ITC, I think, is not a very high beta stock in terms of market performance, and the structure is much stronger over there. So that's a buy with a stop below 205.8 for targets of 212. And Petronet is reversing from oversold level, so buy with a stop at 220 for a target of 230.
Okay, interesting picks. Prakash Gaba is also joining us. Prakash, good morning and happy birthday. And what would be your stock ideas?
Thank you, Anuj. Well, I like two stocks here, and both on the long side. One is Bharti Airtel. Very good chance we can see it climb to 550 zones. Stop below 540 should be fine. The second stock that I like is Apollo Hospital. Looks good momentum out here. Target is in the vicinity of 3,900. Stop below 3,775.
Fair enough. Prakash and Mitesh, thanks for those calls. ICICI Bank is actually bouncing back. That's the reason the Bank Nifty has managed to pull back from the lows. Initially, that was down as much as HDFC Bank, but now that's cut its losses to just about 0.8%, and that's the reason that you're seeing the recovery play out on the Bank Nifty. Of course, IT still remains one of the better indices. The other one which is pulling back clearly is metals. So NALCO, just pull out the intraday chart of NALCO, National Aluminium. That's all of a sudden seen a big rally. In fact, intraday high on that stock. That's the metals index. Now, Manisha was alerting us in the morning that most prices have actually gone up, and that's the chart of NALCO, which is up about 3%. In fact, since we're talking about that topic, let's go across to Manisha. So Manisha, you alerted us in the morning that metals actually are looking up, but now what commodity are you tracking?
I'm looking at crude oil prices, Anuj, because there are expectations that we haven't had the complete impact of the OPEC and allies meeting yet, and there is further decline that we might perhaps could be looking at in the prices going forward as well. So what we do know is that OPEC and allies have had a meeting over on Sunday. It was a last-minute called meeting, and they have made an agreement with what UAE asked for. So they have increased the baseline from 3.16 right now to 3.5 million barrels per day for UAE. But UAE is not the only country. You will see other countries also asking for it. So starting May 2022, you will have Iraq and Kuwait baselines also increased by 150,000 barrels per day. You will also see a similar scenario come in for Russia and Saudi Arabia, where it will be increased to more than 11.5 million barrels per day. And then Nigeria and Algeria also want an assurance that their baselines will be increased. So what we are looking at right now is that OPEC has a spare capacity of 5.8 million barrels per day. Out of this, 2 million barrels per day will be added in this year itself, and the remaining 3.8 million barrels per day will be added by September 2022. So last year, when OPEC and allies cut 10 million barrels per day from the international markets, all of that, the pre-pandemic supplies, will be back by September 2022. So the markets really were not expecting this. What most they were expecting was that 2 million barrels per day is what we will see in this year, and yet another 2 million barrels in the next year. But this is the kind of supply which is really a sigh of relief for the consumers, and we are expecting the crude oil prices to continue to decline further from here. So we have seen 4% of a cut in the previous week, 1.5% of decline on your screens right now, and the markets do believe that 65 to 68 barrels per day is where we could be headed in the next month itself. So that's the kind of correction that would actually mean 10 to 12% of a decline in crude oil prices in next couple of months. Trading strategies, and we have a sell continuing in case of the crude oil prices. I spoke to IIFL, and they expect the prices to decline up to 5,250 there, but it is the gold prices which have continued to move slightly on the higher side. Even as the US dollar is stronger, we have the gold prices trading at a 1-month highs. So that strategy should come on your screen. So That doesn't seem right.
The target looks way off.
48,250 is what the targets should be. That is where the gold prices should head.
Imagine that as a real target, right? Someday perhaps in future generations.
I think the decimal has gone wrong over there. So don't go by that target price. They expect it to rise, that I guess. Let's get back to the stock markets now. At this point in time, you're seeing considerable resilience in the market, especially in the mid-cap space. It's only 0.25% down, and even the Nifty Bank has pulled itself up by the bootstraps.
Lata, look at the new listings. 95% higher for both actually. GR Infra settled 100% higher than its issue price, and Clean Science and Technology, it was expected to be a strong listing, as Sonal was telling us, 95% higher. The issue price was 900 rupees. It settled at 1755. So very, very strong listings coming through, both from GR Infra projects as well as from Clean Science and Technology. That's been the buzzword as well. ESG, renewable energy and clean science is in that space. But we have some big numbers coming through today. HCL Tech will be reporting its Q1 numbers. Rima is here to give us the key expectations. Rima, over to you.
Thanks so much for that. So we're working with a dollar revenue growth of about 2% for HCL Technology. So it will look muted compared to what peers have reported. The revenue growth for the company will be impacted due to its presence in the NCR region, where we know the second COVID wave was lethal in the months of April as well as May. Margins are seen higher by 250 basis points at 19.15%. Margins will improve after the sharp drop that we had in the prior quarter due to the wage hike, the bonus impact, and plus the pyramid kicking in with fresher hiring will help in lowering the employee costs. We expect the company to reiterate its FY22 guidance of double-digit constant currency revenue growth and EBIT margins of 19 to 21% for FY22. Just a quick word on the valuation. The stock trades at a 12-year high valuation discount of 30% to Wipro. So HCL Technology is roughly trading at 20 times FY22 PE, while Wipro is at 26 times. And the stock in the last 1 year has underperformed its peers. Back to you.
Okay, Rima, thanks a lot for that. So that's about HCL Tech. But just wanted to mention that Clean Science and Technology continues to move up with quite a bit of strength. And as we've been telling you, it is, it has some seriously strong fundamentals. It's seen a compounded annual growth rate of 37% in its revenues over the past many years. EBITDA growth has been 38%. And this whole specialty chemical space, especially in the renewable energy space, is doing very, very well. Its dividend payout ratio has also been very strong at about 17 to 18%. So not too many red flags here. One of the risks, of course, is its high exposure to the market in China. But apart from that, it has very strong fundamentals. So good listing coming in there. And GR Infra as well has been a pretty solid listing.
Yeah, and GR Infra, as Agam was reminding us, we'll get Agam once again to tell us about GR Infra. It's one of those few IPOs which are not asking demanding valuations. So that again is, reflecting in the way in which the stock has listed. Both of them have doubled actually. Clean Science settling at about 1,800 versus an asking price of 900 in the IPO. And GR Infra's 837 is being greeted with a 1715.
Absolutely.
So that's a doubling as well. So, that's good going. That's always encouraging. So we need to learn more about these companies. Sonal Bhutra has joined in on the Clean Science listing. Sonal, good morning again, and tell us the key features of this company.
Good morning, Lata. Well, it is actually a specialty chemicals company, but something different here. It uses clean technology to make all its products. It has three segments. In fact, the three segments are performance chemicals, pharmaceutical intermediates, and FMCG chemicals. It gets most of its revenues from performance chemicals. That is around 69% of their revenues. It has big clients as well, the likes of SRF, Vinity Organics. There is Genix Laboratories. There is Bayer AG. So these top 10 clients are maximum of the revenues that the company gets. Exports are around 69% of its revenues. The last 3 years has seen good growth as far as revenue, EBITDA and profitability is concerned. Revenue growth of 37%, EBITDA growth of 39% and profit growth of 42%. Now it is settling 100% at a 90 to 100% premium, and if it settles around those levels, it will be trading almost 90 to 100 times 1 year forward earnings, and it is the highest that the chemical sector has seen so far. It is above all the averages that we've seen in chemical sector overall. So it looks like it will be an expensive stock once it's listed. But considering the growth rates that is seen, it is promising growth. But we'll have to see at what price does that growth come in at. For now, it looks like it will be listing at very expensive valuations.
You're right, absolutely, at 90 times, but that is because of the 93 times subscription that it has got. So there is a bit of a scarcity premium to the stock. We'll have to see how it settles. Agam, very quickly on GR Infra, that's also listing at double the offer price.
Absolutely, and the scarcity premium will play a part in this. But besides that, we're also looking at the valuations. Considering it has been priced at a significant discount at around 837 rupees, that was at around 8.5 times. Should it list at 90% to 100% premium to its issue price? In that case, we will see it list at around 16 times. That will still be in line with several of its peers like Ashoka Buildcon as well as Dilip Buildcon. So we may very well see it around there. Let's keep an eye on that, but we're expecting a strong listing right now.
Actually, for Clean Science, its peers are also doing very well this morning. So look at Vinity Organics, for example. I mean, great wealth creator in the past, up 3% today. SRF, which has been a really strong mover. So this entire space, specialty chemicals, is doing very well. Let's take a quick break. Another space that we've been tracking closely is the entire broking industry and the brilliant performance that these companies have seen. Dinesh Thakkar, the chairman and managing director at Angel Broking, will join in just a bit. Mithun Ashwath, the managing partner at Kiva Advisors, will also be with us to discuss the big move that we've seen in this industry.